Hello, welcome back, aspirants and learners, whoever want to learn a little bit more about grammar. My name is Miss Electoli, Faculty of English at Edufy, and today we're going to talk about the topic of the various forms of future tense. I think we basically know what is a future tense. Words that tells us about actions that will happen or could happen in the future. That means actions that have not happened yet are understood as future tense. And we will be learning about the various forms of that very tense in this very video. So the future tense in English describes actions or events that will happen after the present moment. That means actions that have not occurred in the present time but will happen or could happen in the coming moment. It is understood as future tense. There are several different forms to express that very future tense, and we will be dealing with that very topic in this video. So the first one is simple future tense. As compared to the other parts of the tenses, we have dealt with the various forms of present tense and past tense. Similarly, we have the same structure and the same idea when we talk about forms of tenses in future tense as well. So the first form of the simple future tense is simple future tense, and you have the structure where you will have the auxiliary verb will plus the base verb. What is a base verb? I think we've discussed this earlier also. Base verbs are those words that denotes an actions in its original form without any addition of any extra letters or without addition of ing. We are just talking about the action itself in its original form, and that is the base verb. Words such as play, walk, sing, dance, look, smell, all of these are understood as base verbs. And that is why when we have future tense, we will have the base verb. But along with that, we will also have the auxiliary verb will, pretending or showing us, pertaining to the fact that something will happen in the future. So here we see in the structure itself, if it's an affirmative sentence, affirmative means positive sentence. If we have a statement, a mere positive statement, then you will have the subject plus the auxiliary verb plus the base verb. Let's take a look at the example here. I is the subject, will is the auxiliary verb, and go is the base verb. Therefore, this sentence should be considered as a simple future tense. Similarly, if a sentence is in negative form, all you have to do is just add the word not to make it negative. So, for example, I will go will be changed to I will not go. Again, if you see here in this example, he won't come. He is the subject, won't is the short form of will not, right? So he won't come is a simple future tense. That means will not come. Since come is the base verb, we have kept this the same. Similarly, again, if we move on to interrogative sentences, you will see the auxiliary verb will be brought to the front of the sentence. So here you do not see the sentence starting with a subject because it's an interrogative statement, right? So you want to ask a question. How do you do that? Bring the auxiliary verb to the front of the sentence and ask will, subject plus base verb. For example, will you help me? So will becomes the auxiliary verb that comes at the beginning of the sentence to ask a question, and you is the subject according to the structure here, and then help me. Help is the base verb. These are the various forms of the tense that is simple future tense. Now, when do we use simple future tense? It is mainly to express a decision made at the moment of speaking. For example, if I say, I will go home today, or I will go home now. What is it talking about? It's talking about the decision that I've made just now, talking about my action that will happen. That means a decision that has been made by me in that very moment to do something later on, right? So that is what we call as a simple future tense, to express a decision made at the moment of speaking. Also, it is used to make predictions. Predictions means something that hasn't happened now, but may happen in the future or will happen in the future. It will rain tomorrow. It is predicting my action or my ability of thinking that it will rain tomorrow. Again, it is also used to offer help or make a promise. This is very important. I will call you later, I will see you later, all what? Signifying a promise of some kind of action that will happen after the present time. That means at the moment of speaking, it hasn't happened yet, but it will happen in the future, showing us some kind of offer or some kind of promise to be made for the future. These are the various examples that you can find. She will study harder this semester. I won't be able to attend the meeting. Will they visit the museum tomorrow? All these are considered as simple future tense. Now, if you don't just remember the usage, when or how do we use it, if you don't even remember that, all you have to do is remember the basic structure of the sentences. Then you will be able to identify the simple future tenses. For example, we have the subject plus the auxiliary verb will along with the base verb, that is study. So this is a simple future tense. Here, I won't means I will not be able to attend the meeting. This is attend is the base verb, right? Along with the word I will not. So this is again a simple future tense in the negative form. Again, will they visit the museum tomorrow? Asking a question. They is the subject along with the auxiliary verb will plus the word visit, which is the base verb. So therefore, this is again a simple future tense in the interrogative form. So if you remember to the structure, the basic structure, it will be easy to identify simple future tenses in any form. The next one is a very different one. It's exactly similar to future tense, but it is also understood as a present tense. That is present continuous tense. And how do we identify that? This word, be going to, along with the base verb, has some kind of a future connotation. That means words that talk about some kind of future connotations. But it will be understood as a continuous tense. And which form of the continuous tense? Present continuous tense. Let's take a look at the example here. Whenever we have a subject, is, am, or are plus verb in ing form, we conclude it as a present continuous tense, right? So this is what we're talking about here. We have subject is, am, or are plus going to plus the base verb is also understood as a present tense. Now, the connotation of the sentence is that actions hasn't been performed yet, it will happen in the future or is going to happen in the future, right? So a lot of times people confuse this with future tense, but this will be considered as a continuous present tense, present continuous tense that has a future tense connotation. Take a look at this example. She is going to buy a new car. Now, she is going to buy a new car. She is the subject, is the auxiliary verb along with the verb in ing form. This is a present continuous tense. But the sentence itself is talking about an action that will happen in the coming future, in the near future. Okay, so this type of sentences have both the present and the future tenses together. And if you're asked to identify the tense of the sentence, remember that it's a present continuous tense. However, it does have a future connotation in it, in the fact that the action hasn't happened yet and will happen in the coming or the near future. So if you remember this, it's very easy. Subject plus is, am, are, or not plus isn't going to, all of this are considered as negative statements. For example, you can see this. They are not going to watch the movie. Are not going. So this is again a present continuous tense in the negative form. But once you read the sentence, you will also see that it has a future connotation as well. So please remember this. Do not get confused just because it is going to happen. So this is future tense or present tense. A lot of confusion does arise through this type of sentences. So remember that this is a present tense, but it has a future tense connotation as well. If you can take a look at this, when do we use this type of sentences? It is used to express a plan or intention. I am going to, right? It is expressing what? My intention of doing something. Or maybe I am going to sing. What is that? I am planning to do something. So it is talking or explaining or expressing my plan. If it is also used to talk about the prediction based on evidence. For example, it is going to rain. It is going to rain. Why? Because of the dark clouds, right? So it is a prediction based sentences. Again, we have sentences like I am going to travel to Japan. This is again what? Some kind of a plan or my intention of doing something in the coming or the near future. The next one is future continuous tense. Future continuous tense is also very similar to the earlier ones that we talked about, that is present continuous tense as well. And the main difference is the auxiliary verb, this one, will be. And it is very important in the sense that it will show us what the intention of the action is, right? And since we talked about this also, continuous will have verb in the ing form no matter what. So even in this future continuous tense, we see the auxiliary verb will be plus the verb in ing form. Let's take a look at this. Subject plus will be plus verb in ing form. For example, I will be studying at 8 p.m. I is the subject, will be along with verb in ing form, it is studying. So what is this? A future continuous tense. Again, what is it used for? To describe an ongoing action in the future. That means an action that is not happened yet, but in the future it will be an ongoing action. So I will be doing this or doing that. So during the time that I'm talking about that action, it will be a continuous action in that very time. So that is what we talk about when we say a future tense. Again, to indicate actions that will be in a progress at a future moment. Same, they are talking about the same things, okay? When we're trying to talk about an action in the future, but it'll be a continuous action, progressive action. Subject plus will not or won't plus be plus verb in ing. Again, remember that there is an addition of the word be in all of this type of sentences. You see this one. She won't be working tomorrow. In this type of sentences, what do we have? She is the subject plus will not becomes won't, right? And be has been added plus the verb in ing form. So what is this? A future continuous sentence. A sentence that talks about an action that will happen in the future but it will be in progress. Similarly, this one, again, it's the same structure. The auxiliary verbs will be brought to the front. Now here in this, the be word, in all of this, be has been added with will, right? But in this interrogative sentences, be will come after the subject. So what do we see? Will you be coming? A lot of times people get confused because of the structure, since we add be along with will. So we tend to ask questions, will be you, right? So that is incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. You will have to write the subject first before you bring the word be. So will you be coming to the meeting? This is how you write a future continuous sentence. As we move on, the third form of a future tense is future perfect tense. And mainly it will have will have plus the verb, since it's perfect form, right? We understand, I think so far we've talked about this, and we know that a perfect tense will always have the verb in the past participle form. So structure, according to the structure, it will be will have plus past participle verb. So in this case, here we see as an affirmative sentence, subject plus will have plus past participle. The example of that very structure is I is the subject, will have finished the report by Friday. So will have along with past participle finished. What is this? A future perfect tense. Now please remember to understand the usage as well. It is used to express an action that will be completed before a certain point in the future. Please remember this. It is used to express an action that will be completed before what? A certain point in the future. It is also used to show a sense of completion by the future. It is also important to understand the usage of a future perfect tense. And what is that? It is used to express an action that will be completed before a certain point in the future. The second usage is it's also talking about the completed action, to show a sense of completion by a future time. So all of this description about the future perfect tense is talking about an action in the future, but it will be completed actions. So that is why we see the past participle form of the verb in this type of tenses. He will not have participated or completed. For example, take a look at the sentence. He is the subject, won't is the short form of will not, he won't have completed the project by then. So by then talks about what? A future time or a certain point in the future, right? And what are they talking about? Actions that will be completed at that very future point in time. Through this example, you understand the usage as well. So interrogative sentences, if you have that is a future perfect tense, you will have the subject, sorry, you will have the auxiliary verb will plus the subject plus have. So here we do not have a combination of will have, but rather the will and have will be separated by writing the subject in between them. So how will you write this? Will they have arrived by noon? Again, talking about the actions being completed by a certain point in time in the future. Also, we see the auxiliary verb will that is separated with have, with the subject in between them. So, will they have arrived by noon is a future perfect sentence. I hope this is clear to you. We will move forward to the next one, and that is the future perfect continuous tense. The word themselves seems very long, but if you understand the concept, it's very simple. Just remember the structure. When we talk about the future perfect continuous tense, it will have the subject plus the auxiliary verb will plus the combination of the word have been and the verb in ing form, since it is a continuous form. So if you look at this, what are the various sentences that I can write through this structure? If it's an affirmative sentence, that is a positive sentence, by 10 p.m., I will have been working for 12 hours. So it might sound like a very long statement and you're confused. All you have to do is look at the subject. I is there, plus the auxiliary verb will, and the combination of the words have been along with ing verb. So what do we see? This is a future perfect continuous tense. Again, similarly, you can write this in the negative form by just adding what? Will not have been. Okay, and what is the usage of a future perfect continuous tense? How do we use it, or when do we use this type of sentences? It is used when we want to emphasize the duration of an activity that will be happening continuously until a certain point in the future. So what you see here, the usage is the combination of a future continuous tense and future perfect. And we combine these two to make a future perfect continuous tense, right? So what am I saying by saying this? I'm saying that it will be emphasizing the duration, the time limit. For example, by next month, by 10 p.m., by tomorrow, by the time you arrive, by the time you come home, right? So what are they? Specific emphasization of the duration of an action, of an activity, right? That will happen continuously until a certain point in time. So if I say by 10 p.m., I'm giving you a time limit till 10 p.m. So there's a duration being mentioned in the sentence, and I'm also saying that during the duration, the action will be continuous at that future point in time. It is also used to show an ongoing action that will continue up until a point in the future. Same thing. It is also used to talk about ongoing action that will continue up until a point in the future. Again, talking about the duration of time. Let's take a look at this example. By the time you arrive, we won't have been waiting too long. What is it saying? This is a negative future perfect continuous, right? It is talking about the duration that when you arrive, okay, by the time that you arrive, there will be an ongoing action of us waiting for you, right? And it will be continuing till the point of your arrival. So this is what we talk about when we see a future perfect continuous tense. And if you don't understand the usage, it's too complicated for you. All you have to do is remember the structure. subject plus will have been plus verb in ing form. If you want to write a negative sentence, just add the word not. Will not have been verb in ing form. And that will automatically bring to you the future perfect continuous tense. So thank you for joining me again. Please, if you want to, you can go back to the beginning of the video and try to learn more about the tenses in details, and hope you can join me in the next class. Thank you.